Greetings, Sumner-Bonney Lake, elementary families and child care providers. We are so excited to bring our students back into school for some face-to-face instruction. I'm Darla Offner, Director of Elementary Curriculum, and I'm going to go over some important information about our hybrid AB instructional model. The purpose of this video is to give you some specifics of the elementary AB instructional model. I will go over what your child's in-person learning days will look like and highlight what you can expect on the asynchronous days when your child is working from home or other remote location. I will also share some important upcoming dates and additional information. So this is our hybrid instructional model at a glance. You will see in the email that we have linked a PDF version for you to print if you'd like, as well as a student-friendly version to help your child better understand what to expect. Let's start with a brief overview of the hybrid AB model. As you can see below, students will be divided into two groups, Group A and Group B. Each of these groups will have a different in-class weekly schedule, with all students asynchronous on Mondays and 2 other days during the week. Now, let's take a closer look at the 2 types of instructional days in this model. On the days your child is in class, they may arrive as they did before. They might ride the bus, you can drop them off, or in some cases, they may walk to school. They will have a quick check-in each morning when they arrive at school, and their temperature will be taken. Once in the classroom, their instruction will be based on our focus standards, which are the key knowledge and skills at each grade level. Students will have language arts and math blocks, as well as social emotional activities to connect and in some cases reconnect with their peers. Students will be safe and they will maintain distancing as recommended by the CDC. Students will also get to go to specialist times like PE, music, or STEM on most days. There will even be recess each day for our kids. When it comes to lunch, they can bring a lunch from home or the school will provide one free of charge. Please note that Chromebooks are going to stay home for the asynchronous days. They do not need to come to school with your child. At the end of each in-person day at school, classroom teachers will prepare your kiddos for their at-home asynchronous days. And that might include a folder with some worksheets, a notebook, or a reader. Now let's talk about the days when your child is working remotely. Each student will have an asynchronous day on Monday and 2 other days of the week, depending on their group. Remember that when your child is asynchronous, their teacher is teaching in person with the other group all day. This is different than our current model, so the asynchronous work will look a little bit different. The work students will do on asynchronous days will include online practice. So students will complete most of their online programs like Lexia and Dreambox on these days. Their teacher may also recommend any additional programs. The additional work students will do on asynchronous days need to be independent, predictable, and consistent. We want this work to be a minimum impact on our families and child care providers. The assignments teachers will give might include some math and reading fluency practice pages. There may be a writer's journal entry or an independent activity to support a lesson that students learned in class. There will be time in the schedule for your child to read a good book or read to a partner. And students will also have some asynchronous tasks provided by the music, PE, or STEM specialists. Please note that there are no scheduled class Zooms on the asynchronous days. However, there may be some individual situations where a student may receive some additional support through Zoom on an asynchronous day. SAC lunches will continue to be provided free of charge on those asynchronous days, and they're available between 11:30 and 1 o'clock at the previously designated school sites. One other thing, please make sure that your students are ready with their materials and their backpacks for their next in-person learning day to ensure a smooth transition. Note that on Mondays, hybrid teachers will have time available for parent communication if needed, and they will communicate the specific time to their hybrid families. Teachers will send out their asynchronous work for the week to let your child know what they should be completing. Here's a second grade example of what it might look like. As you can see, these activities are pretty predictable and consistent for all days. We really want this to have a minimal impact on families. Remember that teachers may also be sending a folder home with your child with any worksheets or other assignments to do. Teachers might also include links on the schedule for your child to open and access resources. I want to go over some important upcoming dates with you. January 14th and 15th are the Thursday and Friday before the big transition takes place on Tuesday, January 19th. Teachers will provide asynchronous work for students on both days to allow for preparations for the switch to both hybrid and, for some, distance learning. Remember that the transition will result in some students getting a new teacher in this transition, and we want to ensure that teachers are able to connect with students and previous teachers to best support our students. They will also have time on those transition days to learn and prepare to teach students the new safety protocols and routines in the building. On January 18th, there is no school because it is a holiday. On January 19th is where it all begins. Starting January 19th, our new class rosters, K-5, will be in effect. That means that classes will be built in the hybrid AB, as well as those who are staying in distance learning. It is also the first day for our kinder through second grade students in the hybrid A group to come to school in person. As well, all K-5 distance learning students that are remaining in distance learning will begin their instruction in their new classes on that day. January 20th is the first day for hybrid Group B, kindergarten through second grade, to be in person. Then if we fast forward to February 2nd, this begins the transition to hybrid for our third through fifth grade students. This will be the first day in person for hybrid Group A, followed by February 3rd, which is the first day in person for hybrid Group B in our third through fifth grade classes. Thank you so much for taking time to learn about our hybrid AB instructional model. We are so excited to see our students' faces as we welcome them back beginning January 19th.